Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Monday, November the 20th, 2023. It took a little bit of time, but eventually the markets did decide to turn and to move higher in unison and with that additional pump that we get when we're seeing a lot of funds being put into the market collectively. And a lot of that took place in the NASDAQ, where we saw Apple close finally above 191. So this is all new high territory. AMAT was up pretty strongly. Amazon, mediocre. But we go down our list, and where it really was being played out was Meta, Microsoft, Netflix a little bit, NVDA, which of course tomorrow has its report. And Tesla, which was down for most of the day, ended up finishing higher. But the big one was Microsoft and NVIDIA. Now, Microsoft, in case you didn't see the news, Altman, who was the CEO of ChatGPT, who supposedly got fired over the weekend or on Friday, was hired by Microsoft. And it puts a lot of value to Microsoft because ChatGPT's loss is Microsoft's gain in terms of they were actually the largest investor, I think, in ChatGPT, putting several $billion into that company as a startup. And since the CEO, who I believe was the one that came up with the whole ChatGPT, is booted out, well, they don't have to put any more money into it. They can just go hire him. And it appears that that's what they did. So bravo to Microsoft, I hope. I have a lot of respect for the company. I also favor Microsoft over many other high-tech companies. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a Microsoft fan in terms of company structure, product upkeep, and forward thinking. Let me put it that way. Case, it did help to propel the markets higher. So it would be pretty clean to kind of talk about that Microsoft is likely headed by Friday, but actually shortened holiday week. But for this week's expiration, I would think 375 to 380 or even higher. So, but what the market is now waiting on, at least here in the NASDAQ, but also I believe in the balance of the markets, although the Dow didn't make any difference because NVIDIA is not in the Dow. I don't know if it's in the Russell. I haven't gone and checked part of the 2,500 stocks there, but we do know that it is in the S&P and it is in the NASDAQ. So the two that I followed that we comment on here, we're going to get the benefit of NVIDIA's move, which was closing above $500 and now bid above where the market closed. So interesting as we work towards tomorrow afternoon and get their earnings report. Also, so I don't forget, it is also been noted that the market is likely holding its breath and waiting for tomorrow's release of the October 31st Fed meeting. I'm like, I would think that they're probably waiting, but I don't know how they're all hanging their hats on it. We know what the deal was. And now we've heard from every Fed governor and vice president and everybody else as to what the position moving forward is. So what surprises may or may not come out of that Fed minutes, I do not know. But they're also going to be due out tomorrow. So starting here with the NASDAQ, I have been looking for and still continue to count a minute third wave up. Now, so we got wave 4 in, and that actually I marked to, I believe it was Wednesday's low. Let me just take a peek. Yeah. No, actually it was Thursday's. Thursday morning, actually just prior to or on the opening, we reached our low of 15,796.75. I'm putting a minuet wave 4 there, and we're off to the races to put a minuet wave 5 and complete minute wave 3. Now, I have been saying that I've been running the two alternate counts, one being that intermediate wave 2, the second one being that we're in a minor fifth wave. Now, I'm going to tell you, if we're just finishing up this third wave, it would have to be taken as the C wave, the minor C wave of that intermediate wave 2. And right now, inside that, we have this would be also still a fourth wave to finish the fifth wave and then label the whole thing as C. Now, 100%. Okay, so that's equality, and that fits, and that would work, where equality between 5 and 1 comes in at 16,201.75. That leaves 50 points, almost on the nose, 50 points that the market could extend beyond and keep intact or keep valid that one of the alternates. My own personal feeling is that with NVIDIA and still having, it's not, and let me just say, it's not a matter of the market has to close below that level, 16,251, 252. It cannot exceed it. If it exceeds it, it's not a wave 2. So we come back down to here, it would finish minute wave 3, right? Under this count, it would finish minute wave 3. If it got up there and couldn't hold it, it started to come back down. That fits. Wave 5, 100% of wave 1, done, down, rally. Third, fourth, rally. Now, to make it more perfect, we'd be looking for an extension to get up above 16,400, and that zone is 450 down to 485. Right, that's the zone right there, where the fifth wave would be 1.618, but the minute third wave would be 100% of minute wave 1. Now, that equality becomes more important because wave 3, we would never want it to be the shortest wave, particularly in an impulse. It's not a triangle, it's an impulse. So it should not be the shortest. And that's why you always hear me say, I'd always be looking for a little bit more. So going into a wave 5, wave 3 doesn't stand the chance because wave 1 would then be the shortest. If we did a wave 3 up here, we get a little bit more than 100%. And then wave 5 could come in also being large rather than, 0.618, 100 to 1.618. So it leaves a lot of room for the addition of that fifth wave. Now, again, my feeling is it's like the whole move itself is likely to exceed 16,201, and it might do that overnight. We finish up with off of a high today, 16,116, almost 117. And so from there, it's really not that big of a stretch. And again, if it got to 16,201, came down from there, it keeps alive one alternate, but really the other alternate, it wouldn't fit. I'd still be looking for additional. So I am looking for this fifth wave to extend. And with that in mind, I'd be looking for it to get itself above 16,201 and above 16,251. And so what we have going on, we have 100% for minor wave 5 equaling minor wave 1. That's at 16,339. Well, I think that's going to get broken in terms of how high this wave could go, right? Even as an ABC, it still could likely reach 16,452. That's our next level up and for a minuet wave 5. If it were to exceed 100%, the next level up is 16,452, with anything in between, to be honest with you. So the minor wave 5, then we have 1, 2. We're looking for the completion point of minute wave 3. I definitely would be looking for it to come up into here so that minute 3 is equal to at least 100% of minute wave 1. So that's, and a little bit more would take us above 16,485, above 16,500 more than likely. So what's that tell us about the possibility that we will go to new all-time highs. Again, basis the December contract, that high, I need to just take this out. Let me see if I can pull it in. Okay. No, we're not going to, it's way too far back there. But if I go out to the daily chart, Lord, go out to the daily 10-year chart, and I'm going to be looking at this high. What's this? This is 17,247. And that high is on, such a pain. There we are. What's this one? Basis the December contract that is currently trading. The all-time high sits at 17,440. Now, as gets adjusted, I'd have to go back out and go to the next weekly, go to a weekly chart. And at that, show you that the market sticks with this one, 16,767.50, which of course is basis the previous contract, not the December contract. So again, depends on how you want to look at it as to where it can go based on which contract. So I'm going to stick with that. What we have is above 17,000. That doesn't mean that I want this to go, because I think we will be running into new all-time highs as it stands above 16,767. How it fits in then to our calculations, we just follow these, the fibs, of what they show us. So again, we're inside that fourth. This is on the daily, and let me go get out of on the daily. It's pretty clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. And we pull back, and then we have another fifth wave. So again, I am leaning pretty heavily towards one of those alternates being invalidated, possibly tomorrow. It was a pretty strong day. We were up almost 200 today. We go up 190 from here, we're above that level. So again, doesn't take much. We're up there. So I would not hang my hopes on that it's going to hold below it and drop. That being the case, it pulls up this alternate, would move into preferred status. And we are still then completing that primary B wave. Now, as I spoke about yesterday, I want to just let you guys know that I get a lot that are telling me that, because I'm flipping counts, and then I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the Zweig breadth thrust indicator. And the reason I'm doing that is because over the past 17 occurrences, not including the 2 that we had in November, it has 100% accuracy rate in terms of the market being higher 6 to 12 months out from when it was triggered. If it got triggered in May and then triggered again in November, we're looking at now like 8 to 12 months out that it's going to be between 15 and 25% higher than where it is. Now, if I don't include that and the market continues to climb, I'm still going to receive a lot of grief. So I'm presenting all the information that I can and how that can relate to the market as in its current state. It is really not saying anything about whether the market will see interest rates decline, will see inflation defeated. None of those have taken place yet. It is just basically an indicator that once it's triggered, history tells us 100% of the time, the market will be higher by between 15 and 25%, 6 to 12 months out. That's it. And that's what I presented. So back to what's happening right in front of us. I'm going to continue to track it, and I'm going to continue to use the fibs, and I'm going to continue to put together what I believe is happening. And if I have so what I will have to do, to be honest with you, is now pull out the next one. You have several choices. We have several alternate views or counts that are plausible and have been plausible. But as the market develops and gives us more information, it makes one more plausible than the other. As the market would go out and invalidate one of the particular counts, then that's what the market does. It doesn't make the analyst necessarily wrong, but that's why I am continuing to give you the market internals so that none of this is going to come to a surprise. Now, I appreciate the comments. And I'm sorry that I may have been disappointing to somebody, or that, they're tired, or they're leaving the channel. I get all of that. But what I have been also discussing all along is that I don't recommend any trades, but what I do encourage hedging trades that are put on even on a long-term basis, and consider what your risk is if you're putting a trade on for the long term. And you're doing that because you're protecting your own capital, not that you're protecting me, because Elliott is an art, not a science. And so we have to be reflective of what the market tells us along the way. Again, I state to you, if you had told me at this low, would I be looking for a market breadth to show up being 15 to 1? First it was 11 to 1, then being 15 to 1. My answer would have been no. 15 to 1 buy versus sell. My answer would be no. I'm looking for it to get up and die. So when it occurs, it behooves the analyst to go like, I'm recognizing that. I'm paying attention to that because of its historical relevance and its historical performance when this indicator is triggered. That's enough said. So the next one up is that we're going to finish a primary B wave, or at least a minor fifth wave up to an intermediate C wave and a primary B. I leave open the potential that we could see before the next huge rally. I explained this before. I'm going to go over it again. If the market should reach a point, I can put a primary B there, and still something can happen that can turn the market lower and have it drop 30 or 38%. Do you know where that would put us? Back down in the NASDAQ at just below 11,000. If we got all the way back down there, that could very likely put in a primary C wave and then a cycle A wave. And guess what comes next? A kick your butt cycle B wave rally. So is the indicator wrong? Possibly not. Is the count wrong? Possibly not. But I'm giving you probabilities and possibilities, and at the same time being told, well, you don't trade your Elliott. It's like, actually, I do. I do trade my Elliott. I trade it daily by a 3-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute, and hourly chart. So I do use it. Now, I also have another announcement, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow, and likely I will include maybe a separate video about what's some changes that are going to be made and where I'm heading with those. Back to the market, and I apologize and thank you very much for giving me the leeway to discuss the analysis. So we have gotten up to, and now we're sitting again just below. We reached a high today, and I need to open this guy up. I'm going to do it this way. We reached a high today at 16,116, 16,116.75. Okay, so what in the whole scope of things could that be doing? Well, we have, there's the 4. So we get a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, 5 of 5. So can we get to 201? Yes. Can we get to 450 to 485? Yes. I believe we can. We got NVIDIA reporting tomorrow. We've got Microsoft that'll likely flip and go up even higher. Again, holiday shortened week. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, full days. Thursday, we're closed. Fridays, half day. Oh, we can get up there, take care of business, do what we need to do, and then go home and have a happy Thanksgiving. Now, above all this, the 5th, yep, if it really starts to scream, NVIDIA blows the doors off and then some, you got 857. Now we're looking irregular B wave. And you can see how quickly things can get pushed. When your fibs gap, it kind of does cover if this market gaps. Now, am I expecting that? Well, we did get an analyst or somebody discussing that they were anticipating that NVIDIA would blow out the high end of expectations. That's pretty bold. Last time they exceeded, but it came via forward guidance, NVIDIA climbed 100 points all on its own, just with the earnings and the forward guidance. Now, did the forward guidance come through last month? I don't know. Sort of, maybe, yeah. Even if it's like so-so, the initial reaction could drive it up, and then we go a little tumble down. But in any case, I do think we still have more. We're still looking to finish a minute 3rd wave, which will then lead us to a minute 4th and another minute 5th wave. So we still got a lot of room to get ourselves way up here. And I'm being serious now. So day by day, we got to take this, folks, day by day. And I realize a lot of people have been short and a lot of people waiting for the market to collapse. There's been a lot of reasons for the market to collapse, but you need to please have hedged your trades or changed your trades. We'll go from there. Over in the S&P, well, first let me just talk moving averages here. If I go out to my daily, they're looking pretty good, I think. We have the 20 finally crossing above the 50, which is turning ever so slowly. So now we've got it. Once it gets itself above and keeps going, there's the 200, there's the 50, there's the 20, it'll be above, and there's the 8. All lined up finally, which might give us that next boost. For all I know, that breaking there gave us that additional boost that we got late this afternoon with the 20 breaking the 50. Boom. Triggered a bunch of algorithms. They all come in. We're going to buy on that. That's all fine. Now we got the fibs that are matching what the move can do. Over in the S&P, beautiful, beautiful trading today in the S&P. So here again, let me just go over moving averages right now. 20 just crossing the 200. So it's still got the 200. It's right there touching it. And then we have the 50 above it. It needs to clear both in order to give this guy a boost. And it had a nice boost today. It got up to 618, and that 618 would have been attached to this fifth wave. Not the most common. Most common sits right here. 4683, and we have 46. What's this guy telling me? 4683, and they're all the same, 4685. So this I'm calling 4680 to 4690, giving it a nice little wide berth. Ultimately, that's 100% for wave 5. So there we're in looking good. But 100% for minute wave 3 sits up here at 4639. So again, as I've been talking, my expectations are for the S&P to at least go up and get itself above 4,600. At least touch that level. Above all this, 47.14, 48.15, 48.70, where minor 5 would be equal to be minor 1 at 48.70. Those are real, and they sit. They've been there. And it looks good. Coming down, let's take a peek at this, the smaller one here. And again, we've got the 4. So there's all the fibs remain the same. Let me open it up. We can take a look inside. There's 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Possibly that internal 3 is done. We get a little 4, get a little 5. Completes this 3. Let me see. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 of 3. I'm getting, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would complete this 3. So it looks like we may have completed the internal third. So we're in minuet. So this is sub-minuet wave 1, sub-minuet wave 2, sub-minuet wave 1 of 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 of 3, 4, 3, 5 of 3 of 3. Yeah. So we got a couple more 5s and 3s. We should get up into 40, 45, 80, 85. We stand a fairly solid chance of eventually ending up here, where we're getting our hundreds in, our 100% for the overall minute third. 46.33 to 46.39. That will go 46.30 to 40. And then once minute 3 is done, we do a minute 4. We still have a minute 5. So we still have plenty of upside under the initial. Now, going out here, I do not see that this guy is going to be any different, the S&P. If the NASDAQ starts to break above its, where we would have marked the completion of that primary B wave, here it's 46.84. So ever so technically, this could still be a diagonal triangle for intermediate wave 1, and this is still an intermediate wave 2, but it's just so steep, and it has so many things working against it in terms of market internals, because it would have to stop and die. A, B, C, stop and die before 46.84. So if it gets up here and dies and something bad happens and it flips and goes down, well, we know. Same thing in the NASDAQ. Right at this point, I'm not sure what that's going to be, because we've got these earnings coming. The thing is that everybody's been lying and the earnings are terrible. You know, or the forward guidance sucks and they just kill it. In any case, I am still expecting higher numbers. I think we need to at least get to 46.40 to complete the minute third, set us up for a 5. And that'll definitely take us above 40. I am going to end it right there. Thank you very much for your time. Next update will be on Tuesday, November the 21st. Let me just go recap real quick. Again, what we have: existing home sales tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then at 2 p.m. Eastern, the minutes from the Fed meeting. And then I'm also aftermarket. We have NVIDIA's earnings.